Welcome to Natural Healing at Your Fingertips podcast. I'm your guide, Marci Labor, here to help you discover bite-sized, effective, and affordable natural remedies for stress relief, emotional balance, and immune support. If you're seeking cost-effective alternatives to traditional healthcare, you're in the right place. My mission is to create a world of healing that's free and accessible, anytime, anywhere, right at your fingertips. All you need is 2 fingers and a thumb, an open mind, and an open heart to shift energy for more resilience, vitality, and emotional well-being. Each week, we'll explore easy self-acupressure techniques, the healing power of essential oils for health, herbal remedies, and other holistic healing practices to nourish your body, mind, and precious spirit. I'll show you self-healing tools to help yourself, your family, your friends, and even your pets. Yes, they love natural healing too. Share this podcast with your friends, anyone you think may enjoy it, and help grow our healing community. And don't forget to download each episode to practice anytime and hit follow for automatic updates. For the first 10 episodes, we'll drop into bliss together by stimulating the #1 acupressure point that calms stress and anxiety. It's safe and easy for everyone to do. I'll guide you step by step to go from stress to bliss in 60 seconds or less, and soon you'll be practicing it on your own before each episode, bringing you more mental clarity, feeling refreshed and centered, ready to begin. You can always access the #1 acupressure point to calm stress by clicking the freebie link in the show notes and having it delivered right to your inbox. You can also follow my blog where I recap each episode and include PDFs of each of the acupressure points we do together. Stay tuned for links to short how-to videos on YouTube where I'll be doing live visual demos for each point. I'm really trying to cover all the learning styles. Resources and links are always in each episode's show notes. I'd love to know how these self-care tips and simple natural healing practices are helping you. Please send me a text. The text link is always at the top of the show notes. When you learn an acupressure point, teach one. Your healing touch is as powerful as mine, and together we can help heal 1 million people using natural healing at our fingertips. The tips shared are for educational and empowering purposes only. They're meant to help you understand the energy in your life and support your well-being. The ancient wisdom and holistic practices I discuss can be profoundly supportive and effective for many people. Why encourage self-care over traditional healthcare? Your well-being is unique and professional guidance is essential. Always consult a healthcare provider for specific concerns, diagnoses, treatments, or before using essential oils or starting new programs. Now let's continue on our journey to natural healing. Welcome back to episode 12, everyone. Find peace and healing for PTSD with ear acupressure. Today, I desire to share something deeply personal with you, how I've been using the wisdom of auricular acupressure points, also known as ear acupressure, to support my own healing journey after experiencing trauma that has revisited me as a post-traumatic stress disorder, also known simply as PTSD. In September 2024, my world turned upside down when my cottage burned to the ground during Hurricane Helene in Florida. The emotional weight of that event, coupled with the chaotic aftermath, left me with a storm inside my own mind. The initial looping thoughts, the flashbacks, loss, and the feeling of being stuck in the trauma. It's been a struggle. And what I've learned in my healing journey, though, is that PTSD doesn't always show up right away. And in my case, the second wave of symptoms didn't emerge until much later. And I now realize that they've been a response that's come to the surface as I prepared to return to Florida 3 months later to start fresh in a new home. For months, I thought I was doing okay, but as the time neared to return and I booked my flight, the emotions, the anxiety, and the thoughts began to resurface in full force. And I could feel it in my body, and my chest does not feel like a sea of tranquility. The turbulence comes to the surface and releases with tears. At any time and anywhere, even when walking down the stairs. The beauty of auricular acupressure is that it gives me a tool to navigate these resurfacing feelings and gently calm my own nervous system. Today, I want to share with you the 3 specific acupressure points that have helped me the most: Shenmen, Shenmen, 0 point, and Autonomic point, also referred to as the sympathetic relaxation point. And I have valued greatly the additional support of Conception Vessel 17, also known as CV17, or the Sea of Tranquility, in the center of my chest. These points work synergistically to calm the mind, reset the nervous system, and help release stored emotional trauma. So let's dive in. The first point is Shenmen, also known as the Gate of the Spirit. This powerful point is used for calming anxiety and emotional distress. And many people have found great relief in wearing a small seed or a ball in the ear at this point to help them remain calm in their day-to-day life. It's a powerful point used in acupuncture also, with the needles. In my own healing journey, I've turned to Shenmen to help quiet my mind when the looping starts to take over. And the thoughts in my mind just seem to be the same. And it's all about the trauma. So when trauma strikes, it's common to find our thoughts spinning in endless circles. The mind gets caught in the what ifs and the, I can't believe this has happened and I should have done something differently. And Shenmen helps to break this cycle by calming the spirit and inviting stillness. In my own experience, just a minute of this gentle pressure on Shenmen has given me a pause from the constant rush of emotions, helping me come back to my breath and find a sense of grounding in the midst of perceived chaos. Next, we have 0 point, which is often described as the neutral point on our body, where the body can reset itself to a place of balance and to come back to center. And 0 point is not only a point of energetic balance, but it is also deeply connected to the womb and the solar plexus area, or center of power and emotional well-being. And that area is kind of beneath the ribs and above the belly button, and that's your solar plexus. When dealing with PTSD, our body's energy often feels scattered, and we can get caught in a state of hyperarousal where everything feels heightened and overwhelming. And 0 point help bring the body's energy back to a state of equilibrium, allowing for more clarity and needed peace. And by connecting to this point, we can also tap into the nurturing, grounding energy of the womb, a place of creation and safety and transformation. It's a calm place to begin again. The solar plexus, too, which also governs our emotional power, can be soothed and restored through this point. It kind of calms the butterflies in the stomach. In my own experience, activating 0 point has felt like returning to a place of safety and self-empowerment, where the scattered energy from the trauma can flow back into balance, and I can really know what's going on in the moment. It's a moment where energy stops, and I reconnect with my inner strength and grounding. I can literally feel it happen, allowing for healing to unfold and energy to flow smoothly. The 0 point is so powerful for resetting the body, and I've used this point regularly when I feel overwhelmed, when my thoughts begin looping, as I mentioned, and I need to return to the present moment. 0 point is said to have a connection to being in your mother's womb, a place of stillness and beginning. And as I mentioned, this is also related to your solar plexus area in your abdomen, and it gives this point an added layer of deep healing and emotional connection. The third point I want to talk about is the autonomic point, also referred to again as the sympathetic or relaxation point, which helps calm the autonomic nervous system. In fact, the point actually is the access to the autonomic nerve. And it calms the system, especially the fight or flight response. It's that feeling, that fight or flight, that we can trigger the autonomic nervous system to drop down into a relaxed, sympathetic response. And PTSD often triggers a heightened sense of alertness, even when we're no longer in immediate danger, and it just becomes stressful. And the autonomic point helps to quiet the nervous system, and it allows the body to move out of this heightened state and into almost immediate relaxation. For me, activating this point has been a crucial part of managing the physical symptoms of what I now know as PTSD, such as a rapid heart rate, shallow breathing, and just an overall feeling of just my body tensing up. And by stimulating the autonomic point in my ear, I help my nervous system return to a more balanced state. And then I'm better able to manage my emotional response to the trauma and what's presenting itself that still feels like trauma. And even though I've already dealt with the trauma, so I thought, my nervous system knows otherwise. When I use this point, I can feel my breath slow and my body relax, and it usually brings about a deep sigh, which is always a great sign that your energy is shifting. It's as though my nervous system gets the message that it's safe to let go of that constant state of being alert. And as I've continued on this journey, I have found tremendous support in a point known as the Sea of Tranquility. It's where we embrace our emotions. Conception Vessel 17 is abbreviated as CV17 and also known as the Sea of Tranquility, which is a powerful acupressure point in the dead center of your chest, connected to your heart. This point is incredibly soothing for emotional overwhelm and can help release pent-up emotions. It's easy to do on yourself, and you can do it at any time that you desire. But when you do feel overwhelmed, I really encourage you also trying to come back to a Sea of Tranquility by using this acupressure point. And as I mentioned, when the PTSD symptoms resurface for me, the emotions that are arising feel really intense, mainly around my fear about going back to Florida where there are hurricanes. And that's a trigger for me that's associated with this trauma. CV17 supports the release of these emotions, but more importantly, it's providing a safe space for them to be acknowledged and processed. And I found that when I'm feeling flooded by emotions or what feels like the looping thoughts, I can press gently on CV17 with 3 fingers on the center of my chest. And I just focus on the feeling of the emotion that arises, witnessing it. And I try my best not to judge it, just simply notice the information and allow it to move through me. Deep breaths, and for now, it's accompanied by a few cleansing tears. The tears are the language of the soul and refresh the energy system. And for me, they seem to bring more clarity and wisdom to any situation. Auricular acupressure, also known as ear acupressure, has been practiced for thousands of years as an ancient tradition. And I will now share an ancient wisdom practitioner story of healing. This is the story of Lian and May. Once, in a small village nestled in the mountains, there lived a wise healer named Lian. She had inherited ancient teachings of her ancestors who had long known the power of the body's energy flow and its ability to heal from within. Lian's village was often filled with people who had suffered from emotional scars and physical stress, carrying the weight of their troubles like a heavy burden. They sought her counsel for relief from their anxiety, trauma, and overwhelming pace of life. One day, a woman named May came to Lian with a deep sorrow in her heart. May's life had been a tapestry of loss and hardship, grief from the death of loved ones, struggles with relationships, and the burden of constant worry. Her mind was in turmoil, and her body felt the weight of her unrest. The village had heard whispers of Lian's ability to bring peace to the trouble, and May was desperate for any kind of release. Lian welcomed May into her humble healing space where the scents of calming herbs and essential oils lingered in the air. She spoke to May softly, her words a gentle balm to the weary heart. To heal the mind, we must first listen to the body. You are not alone in your struggle. The body holds the wisdom needed to restore balance. Let us begin by listening to the points of the ear, where deep healing can begin. Lian then explained the ancient wisdom of auricular points, the energy points on the ear that connect to the various systems of the body. She gently guided May to sit with her eyes closed, allowing herself to fully relax. And as Lian placed her fingers on the ear, May felt a sense of calm begin to settle over her. The worries, which once seemed so overwhelming, now appeared to soften as if the body was releasing the grip of the mind. Over time, May visited Lian regularly, finding solace in the simple, yet profound practice of auricular acupressure. Her body began to feel lighter and her mind less burdened. The ancient wisdom that Lian shared with her became a constant source of comfort, and May felt the return of peace and serenity, which she had lost long ago. The story is a reminder that healing is not only about the mind, but also about connecting with the body's innate wisdom. We are just divine intelligence in a human garage. The wisdom of auricular acupressure is one that's been passed down through the generations, and it continues to offer hope and healing to those who are willing to listen. What I found most helpful is integrating these 4 points together in a sequence for deep healing. The Shenmen point, again, calms the mind and the spirit. The 0 point restores balance and connects us to our inner power and safety. And the Autonomic point, or the sympathetic relaxation point, brings the nervous system into relaxation. CV17, or the Sea of Tranquility, offers the space for the heart to process and release emotions. Let's take a few moments to explore these points together. I will now cue the points. All you really have to do is simply follow my cues. I will now guide you to locate Shenmen, the gate of the spirit, in both ears. To find Shenmen acupressure point, take your index finger on your right hand and place your fingertip in the center of your ear on the ridge of cartilage in the center of your ear with your finger pointing towards the top of your ears. Good. Now, the tip of your finger is likely pressing against the ridge of cartilage towards the top of your ear, just above your index fingernail. Shenmen is located in the middle of this triangular space that is formed between the 2 ridges of cartilage of both ears. It's slightly above the center point of your ear on the flat part of your ear up against the bone that you feel underneath your fingertip. Now, using your index finger, locate Shenmen in your left ear. And in the same manner, in the same place, simply know this is a tight space and you're definitely in the vicinity of Shenmen. To stimulate Shenmen point, gently press these acupressure points in both ears at the same time. Again, just above the center ridge of cartilage where your index finger is. And literally, it's just in the flat space that's created as you move your fingertip slightly towards the back of your ear. It's just a flat bone. Press inward against your head at this point, the bone, and hold it in a position like this for 10 seconds or so. And then begin to massage this area in both ears in small circular motions, and even use a small push me, pull you motion up against the upper ridge of cartilage and down to the center ridge of cartilage, and maybe side to side. This area is a tiny area, so small motions all it takes to stimulate this area in all directions. And apply a degree of pressure that feels soothing. It's not too hard nor too light, but you likely will feel a sensation under your fingertip. I will give you a moment to sink into the point. Focus on your breathing. Inhale for a count of 4. And exhale for a count of 4. Stimulate Shenmen in both ears for about another 10 seconds, and then release the points. Allow yourself to sit quietly for another 10 seconds, breathing deeply, and invite a sense of peace and calm to flow through your being. I'll give you a few moments in silence to notice how you feel. I will now guide you to find 0 point, the point of balance in both ears. We just found this center point in the ear when doing Shenmen acupressure point. And again, 0 point is located in the center of your ear on the ridge of cartilage, right in the center of your ear. It's about 1 finger width from the opening of the ear from your face. So let's find both of these points at the same time. This is super easy to do. To locate 0 point, just simply place your index fingers vertically against the opening of your ear, right where the earlobe joins to your face. And just point your index finger up towards the top of your head. Now, just at the edge of your index finger in your ear is likely to be 0 point. It's about a finger's width inside on the ridge of cartilage that's in the center of your ear. And you're not entering the ear canal at any time. This is in the outer ear, about halfway from the face and the outer edge of your ear. It's the center point of your ear, again, on that ridge of cartilage. You got it. To simulate 0 point, Press both points gently with your thumb or your index finger and hold the point for a few breaths and allow the body to feel a gentle shift into balance. And begin stimulating this point in circular motions. Begin with circles in one direction, and after about 15 seconds, switch the circles to the reverse direction. And I'll give you a moment to sink into these points. Again, focus on your breathing. Inhale for a count of 4. And exhale for a count of 4. And to deepen this experience, if you feel comfortable doing so, with your fingers on 0 point on both hands, in both ears, turn your head to the right on your inhale, and then back to the center on your exhale. And then turn your head to the left on the next inhale, coming back to the center on your exhale. And if you'd like, continue doing this for a few full breaths. I'll give you a moment to sink into the point and try this method. Stimulate 0 point in both ears for about 10 seconds more, and then release those points. And again, we're going to allow yourself to sit quietly for another 10 seconds, breathing deeply and allowing your mind to release any tension, and imagine your energy being gently restored into a state of neutrality. I'll give you a few moments to come back to your center. Together, we will now locate the autonomic point where it meets the autonomic nerve, also known as sympathetic relaxation point. The autonomic point is located on the inner edge of your ear, where it attaches to your face. It's the point where the highest ridge of cartilage that was above our Shenmen point traces down to the curled edge, the inner edge of your earlobe, right where it attaches to your face. It's on the inside edge of that curl of your ear cartilage. And to locate this autonomic nervous system point, take your index finger and place it on the highest ridge of cartilage. It's the ridge closest to the top of your ear, but before the top curl of your ear. It's the ridge just above the Shenmen point that we did first. And I want you to trace the ridge of the cartilage down towards your face as this ridge curves slightly downward. We'll continue under the curl of your earlobe where it meets. And it's a tiny little spot. And that point that you're pressing into against the curled earlobe is the sympathetic relaxation point. And this tiny crevice is likely where you use your bath towel or a Q-tip to dry your ears after a shower. You just kind of make sure you get into that little dip that's right there where the earlobe meets the face. You can also gently press this area, sandwich between your thumb against the inside edge of the curl of your ear in that tiny spot, and your index finger pressing the outside edge of the curl where it joins to your face. You can kind of grab onto this area if it works better for you. And just try using your index finger in the ear only, and then try grabbing it from both sides. And notice how each method feels to you. Begin stimulating this point with circles, moving in one direction, let's say forward motion. And then after about 15 seconds, let's switch to circles in a reverse motion. I'll give you a moment to sink into these points. Take slow, deep breaths, imagining the tension in your body softening with each exhale and allowing the body to relax deeply. Stimulate sympathetic relaxation points for about another 10 seconds, and then release these points. To finish this practice and shift from stress to bliss, rub your entire earlobes between your fingers and your thumb, up and around the back of the earlobe, up to the top, back down towards the face again. Massage the cartilage in the ear and feel the sensations in your ear tissue. Your ears may even become red. This indicates an open energy system, and it benefits all your organs, your endocrine system, your circulatory system, as well as the brain and the nervous system regulation. So give your ears a nice rub all around. Pinch the earlobe between your finger and your thumb. You'll be stimulating your kidneys and your cerebral area of your brain. Just really just give it a nice rub. And now, as before, allow yourself to sit quietly for another 10 seconds and simply notice. Notice how you feel. Notice how your ears feel. And notice if you have sensed a shift in your energy during this practice. My son has always played with his ear at this autonomic point on his right earlobe since he was a baby, well before I knew all about this. And he still does it now at 27 years old. And now I know why. It's a very calming point for him. And now I'm going to help you find conception vessel 17, also known as CV17, and the Sea of Tranquility. It's located at the center of your chest, 3 finger widths above the bottom of your breastbone, in the depression where the ribs meet in the very center, the midline of your breastbone. So locate that point with 3 fingers, either on just your right hand or put your hands back to back and use 6 fingers, all aligned, 3 and 3, and press the Sea of Tranquility gently with 3 fingers and allow your focus to rest on the sensation that arises underneath your fingers. And as you press inward with gentle pressure, take a moment to breathe deeply and feel any emotion that's arising. Acknowledge it. Let it be seen, felt. And then the goal is to allow it to release. You're in great company. It's okay to allow this vulnerability and release what's been aching to be transmuted into something new. And if tears spring up, welcome them as part of this deep cleansing and washing away of your energetic residue. The memory stored in your nervous system is a vivid snapshot. It's a worn-out emotion. This practice has been incredibly grounding for me in the past many weeks and actually months. And when the fear, sadness, or anxiety comes up, pressing on CV17 offers a safe and calming space for me to feel the emotion fully, then release it instead of holding it inside. And holding this point for 30 to 90 seconds is usually all it takes for the energy to rise and fall away. I encourage you to take a few moments each day to explore these points for yourself. You don't have to experience a traumatic event like mine to benefit from them. Whether you're dealing with everyday stress in a fast-paced life, anxiety, or something deeper like PTSD, these points can be powerful tools in your self-care toolkit. To get the most benefit, I recommend using these points in the morning to start your day with clarity and calm, and then again before bed to create a really peaceful space for rest. And remember, you can use them more often as the feelings or thoughts arise throughout your day, whether it's a looping mind or simply physical tension in your body. These points are always available to you when you need them, and they help you gently guide your body and your mind back into balance. And they're right at the ends of your fingertips. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Remember, you are your own healer, and these ancient practices are always available to you when you need them the most. As a postscript to today's episode, I just wanted to let you know I made it back to Florida. I traveled back with my mom, who likes to stay with my brother for the winter months, and got back, got settled. My cat had some unfortunate UTI, bladder infection type symptoms from stress of all that we've gone through. And I have been dealing with that, which is one of the most unpleasant things you can ever do for a cat that went outside their litter box. And within about a week of that, my mom took a fall and broke her left wrist and 4 fingers on her right hand. And I have been the primary caretaker for her for 10 days, the first several in a hospital, where she could not use either hand. So she needed every sip of water to be fed, kind of just being a loving force to be there and make sure her needs were met, medications kind of were a little wonky and getting her some pain relief. And I realized that I'm the preacher of we have healing at our fingertips that we can use anytime and anywhere. So I began doing what I know how to do best and was giving my mom acupressure on the places that I could, especially her legs and her feet. And we then have transferred to a rehab facility where she's getting OT and PT to get her legs stronger. And she now has 2 casts on both hands. So the PTSD of trauma is real for me. And I just wanted to let you know that this episode begins the first of the Closet series. I have had to literally make my own sound box, and I recorded this episode in the closet. If you happen to hear any crackling of plastic sounds, it's because I was standing in the closet with all the supplies, with my recording equipment. And I have a feeling I may be recording a few more episodes from this specific sound box. So I just wanted to let you know that, and I'm just trying to keep it real. I would be honored if you will take a moment to send up prayers for peace and courage as I enter a new phase of my life. I will feel them deeply. Share with me your tips. Text me through the podcast. The link is at the top of the show notes. Or send me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook. I am so open to receiving your wisdom. Until next time, be kind to yourself and trust in your abilities to heal whatever presents, whenever it presents, in your mind, your body, and your precious spirit. That's my healing touch for today. With love and gratitude, thank you for tuning into this episode. It's because of you that I keep shining my light through my voice and my hands. I'm thrilled to be your guide on this journey to holistic wellness. If you love today's insights on natural healing, self-care, and essential oils, please share this episode with at least one friend. Leave me a comment, and I'd love a 5-star rating for the show. Your review helps us reach more people and grow our community of holistic healthcare seekers. Got questions about natural health, acupressure points, or essential oils for specific conditions? Reach out to me on social media. You'll find all the links on my website at healingtouchnaturalessentials.com. I'm sure I have an essential oil and an acupressure point to add to your wellness toolkit. With your permission, I'd be happy to share your question and my answer on the podcast so our community can learn and grow together. Before you go, remember to hit the follow button so you never miss an episode, and be sure to follow my blog for visuals of all the acupressure PDFs to enhance your learning. I'm Marci Labor, and I'll meet you here next time on Natural Healing at Your Fingertips.